we're going to discuss about prism, how to calculate the lateral area, the volume, and the surface area of a prism. But first, let us go into define what is prism and define the terms that are used in calculating the prism. First, a prism is a polyhedron. Two of its faces lie in the parallel planes called the bases, and whose remaining faces called the lateral face intersect in a parallel line called the lateral edges. Next, let us define the terms that are used in calculating the prism. First, the base edges. The base edges are the intersection of a parallel planes with the planes of the closed prismatic surface. Bases. Bases of the prism are the portions of the parallel planes included by the base edges. Lateral faces. Lateral faces are the portion of the planes of the prismatic surface included between the bases. Lateral edges. Lateral edges are the lines of intersection of the lateral faces. Altitude. Altitude is the perpendicular distance between the bases of the prism. Lateral area. Lateral area of a prism is the sum of the areas of the lateral faces. Total area of the surface is the sum of the lateral areas and the area of two bases. Diagonal. Diagonal of a prism is any line of a segment connecting two vertices which do not lie on the same lateral faces. Now, let's determine the kinds of prism. First is triangular prism. It is a prism whose bases are enclosed by triangles. Next, quadrangular prism. A prism whose bases are enclosed by quadrilaterals. There are two types of quadrangular prism. The first one is rectangular prism. A prism whose edges are equal to each other. A rectangular prism whose edges are equal to each other is called the cube. Next is oblique quadrangular prism. It is a prism whose lateral edges are oblique to the bases or it has no perpendicular faces. Next is pentagonal prism. It is a prism whose bases are enclosed by pentagons. And last one is hexagonal prism. It is a prism whose bases are enclosed by hexagon. The lateral area of a prism is equal to the product of the altitude and the perimeter of the base. Now we're going to use the formula S is equal to HP, where S is the lateral area of a prism and H is the altitude and P is the perimeter of the base. Next, total area of a prism is the sum of the lateral area and the area of the two bases, where SA is equal to S, or the lateral area, and the area of the bases. Next, the volume of a solid is the number of times a unit of solid is contained in a given solid. The volume of any prism is equal to the product of its base and its altitude. Now we're going to use the V is equal to B times H, where B is the base and H is the height or the altitude. In getting the area of a cube, V is equal to E raised to 3, where E is the edges of the cube. We are now ready to calculate the total area, the surface area, and volume of a prism. Now, there are some examples here that we are going to calculate. The first one is an edge of the base of a regular hexagonal prism is 4 cm and the lateral edge is 9 cm. Find the lateral area and total area of a prism. To get the total area and lateral area of a prism, let us going to identify the given first. The given is the lateral edge which is 9 cm and the edge of the regular hexagonal prism which is 4 cm. It is said here that it is regular hexagonal prism, so the edge of the base of the prism is equal. Now, to get the lateral area, we need to use the formula S is equal to HP, where H is equal to 9 and P is equal to 24. Since hexagon has 6 sides, we must multiply 4 by 6 to get the perimeter of the base of a prism. And 9 multiplied by 24 is 216. To calculate the total area of a prism, we must use the formula SA is equal to S plus twice the area of the base. Since we calculate a while ago the lateral area of the prism, now we are going to identify or calculate the area of the base of the prism, where area is equal to 24 squared of 3. How did we get that? We must use the formula A is equal to 3A squared of 3 all over 2, since it is hexagon. And A is 4. Now we must substitute 4 from A. 3 times 4 raised to 2 squared of 3 all over 2 is equal to 3 multiplied by 16 squared of 3 all over 2. 3 multiplied by 16 is 48, so we get the value 48 squared of 3 all over 2. Now, we get the area is equal to 24 squared of 3. Now, we substitute the lateral area and the area of the base. 216 plus 2 times 24 squared of 3 is equal to 216 centimeters square plus 48 squared of 3 centimeters square. That's the total area of the prism. The next example is the edges of a cube is 4 centimeter. Find the volume of a cube. This example is very simple. Since it is a cube, we just need to substitute the value of the edge of the cube in the formula V is equal to e raised to 3, where V is equal to 4 centimeter raised to 3. Now, we get the value of the volume of the cube, 64 cubic centimeter. Our last example is find the volume of a triangular prism whose altitude is 5 cm and given the two legs of its base, which is 3 cm and 4 cm long. Now, we must use the formula volume is equal to base times height. Since the altitude is given, which is 5, we are going to calculate for the area of the base. First, we are going to prove if the base of the triangular prism is a right triangle. To use the formula A is equal to 1/2 base times height. C square is equal to B square plus A square. C is equal to square root of 3 square plus 4 square. C is equal to 9 plus 16. C is equal to square root of 25. Since square root of 25 is 5, we get C is equal to 5 centimeter. Now we prove that the base of the triangular prism is a right triangle. We can now use area is equal to 1/2 base times height. The base is 3 centimeter and the height is 4 centimeter. Now we calculate 1/2, 3 times 4 is equal to 12 all over 2. Now we get the area 6 centimeters square. We are now ready to calculate for the volume. Volume is equal to base times height. Since we get 6 centimeters square in the area of the base, we substitute it to B and substitute 5 centimeter to the height. Volume is equal to 6 centimeters square multiplied by 5 centimeter. We get volume is equal to 30 cubic centimeter. We are now done discussing about the prism, how to calculate the lateral area, the surface area, and the volume of a prism. I hope you learned something for today. See you in our next vlog!